Hi, I have a message today. Um, I I'm gonna do a reading um, using my Sisters of the Sea and Mermaid Tarot decks. Sisters of the Sea is the Oracle cards. Okay. First, I was gonna do this outside earlier when I was outside earthing, but then it got too warm, so I had to come inside. And I think when things get too warm for us or too much for us in whatever way that is, when you recognize that, hey, I'm starting to feel a certain way and it's uncomfortable and it's you're self-gauging what you can handle and what is your threshold, because you're the only one who can set the limits on what is good for you and what you can handle. And yeah, you're the only one that can gauge that. And that's kind of the message I'm wanting to, that little message right there, is that you have to self-direct, self-assess, self-adjust. You are the one to navigate your life. You are the one that knows how you're feeling at all times. You're the one. You're in the driver's seat. And so pay attention to those gauges that are coming up for you, that are telling you, that are giving you messages, and make your adjustments, based on your heart, what your heart is telling you, and also because the gauges that come from the heart, okay, knowing what's best for yourself, and acting out of what's best for yourself. That's all we can do. And no matter what is going on around you in your environment or in the world as a whole, operating out of that space, where you're in your heart, and your heart is leading you, and it's giving you the messages of whatever you need, coming from your soul, right? To help guide and direct you to take some sort of action or inaction. If we're operating from any other part, if we're excuse me, if we're too much operating from our head, then we can be very deceived. I'm going to say deceived. We can be deceived because the ego operates from the head, and also your judgment can be a lot more clouded when operating from your head. Not to say that you don't need to think, but actually I think that the most pure resonant thoughts actually come from your heart, not your head. You know, you feel the frequency, yeah, you know, and they come from a place of love, okay? And so I think that's the key, is operating out of love for yourself and for others, and that comes from the heart center, from the heart chakra. And so yeah, so the example that I used, you know, where I was because I love myself, and I want what's best for me. So I came inside because I noticed, and I was given the messages and the gauges, you know, I was paying attention to the gauges, you know, that on my dashboard, you know, that yeah, you need to go inside now. You need to be inside because it's feeling a little too warm outside. Okay, and symbolically, when you feel too warm, like the external world is too warm, and it feels like it's possibly detrimental to your health, you know, to your well-being, then maybe what you need to do is go inside. Go inside. Go return within, turn inward, and find your center, find your peace, and it's not to ignore the external, but it is to come back to the heart, okay? Because when we're in the external world, when we are very much like so aware of all our surroundings and everything around us, and that external influence on us, that is still, that's still kind of in the head, okay? When we go inward and we connect with our heart and our soul, you know, we connect with our higher self, we come back to ourself, then we are in that realm of love and light. We can see and feel more clearly the truth of everything, and no matter what is going on outside of ourselves, we can find that center of truth of who we really are. And yeah, because when we operate from within ourselves, that's what's actually influencing the rest of our external world, okay? So go inward, especially during times like what we're maybe experiencing right now. Go inward. Okay, so pulled a couple cards. This one, High Tide. 17, High Tide, and there's a lot of blue and green in here. Blue, throat chakra, and green, heart chakra. All right, so what's happening in here is, I have to cover up. What's happening in here is these two mermaids, if you can see. These two mermaids are offering assistance to boost up this other mermaid. And this particular mermaid up here, she has wings. So, and it looks like she's in a little bubble, like maybe she's in a protective bubble, because as you can see, there's a lot happening around her, it's kind of like what I was just saying. But she is in this bubble of light because she is in her center. And what's going on around her, with the high tide and the currents that she's feeling, that energy that she's feeling, or that is swirling around her, it's not penetrating this protective bubble. And why does she need to be in a protective bubble? Because a lot of times we think that being in a protective bubble is, well, now you're ignoring everything on the outside and you're being irresponsible. I don't really see things that way. I do feel that it's irresponsible to ourselves to put ourselves in harm, in jeopardy, if something isn't good for us, if something is let's just say possibly destructive for us, and maybe we are in a position at the moment where we are needing to be in a more restful, healing state, because we are delicate. We have just been through so much transformation, and we've just gotten our new wings, and we need to protect our wings that we just got, because if she wasn't in this bubble of light and in her center, and all of this tide, high tide and waves, was penetrating, it would possibly destroy her new wings. Okay, I guess I'm kind of talking about myself, because I really do identify with this, which is why I have to protect myself. I have to protect my energy. And I do have, like these mermaids, I have some people that help me to and understand that is what I need. That is what I need. I need this so that I can regain my strength and have have these wings that are newly formed, have them become stronger so that they can one day come out of the bubble, and then I can use them to fly. Okay, and so I don't know if this makes any sense to you, or if it resonates, and if you're finding yourself in a similar kind of situation where you've been through a lot, of a, a lot of things, a lot of trauma, a lot of things that you're healing, you're sorting through, and it's changing you into this butterfly, because you're allowing yourself to finally take the time out, take the, you know, go within and do all the shadow work and all the things that you need to do in order to grow these wings, you know, that are going to help you to fly in the next part of your life. And yeah, so maybe you're feeling similarly, and yes, there's a lot of high tide energy right now with very heavy, strong currents going on all around in the external world, you know, right now. And not everyone is able to show up in those spaces. And this is not an excuse. This is a reason, you know, like if you're not showing up in certain spaces, there may be wise reasons for it. And do not put yourself in harm's way if you know that that's not the right thing for you to do for yourself. If you know that you are in a fragile state right now that would interrupt the transformation that's happening, you know, so maybe you do need to turn it down the volume, you know, on your social media if it's too much in that energy that is what do you call it, turbulent. Okay. And yeah, because the next part of your journey, number 40, the next part of your journey is going to require you this is a lot of green, heart, throat chakras, and she's got wings also, and she's sitting on this rock, which is so then the next part of this journey, okay, she's got her wings, and the wings are now as you can see in here, the wings were, you know, big and full, but in here they've transformed into a different kind of wing. So to me, this is suggesting that they're not quite finished transforming, and she needs to give it time, so she needs to stay in that bubble. And then when she's done, she will be able to sit on her foundation of truth, and she will be able to use those wings. And can you see the coloring in this, where it's very, very much more a blended green and blue? That to me is suggesting that, as opposed to this card where the blue and the greens are kind of more separated. And so like your throat chakra and your heart chakra are trying to work together, but they're not quite there. And then in this picture, she's completely in line, and the heart and the throat chakra are very balanced, working together. And she's strong. She has her solid foundation, this rock that she rests on when she needs to. But she's very capable of taking off with her wings and flying and soaring and going through her journey, and using that throat and heart chakra to share the love, share the love and the joy and everything that has brought her to this point, to a point where she is whole, and she's been through so much, but it has transformed her and changed her and helped her to become what she was always meant to be. Your soul has some kind of mission or something that you set out to do when you came here, and we have to start listening to what it is, and aligning ourselves to what it is that your soul is whispering to you and wants you to pay attention to, and coming in, the gauges and things, you're going to get whispers telling you, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that because this is what's in your best interest, and you need to pay attention to those things. We need to pay attention to those things. Okay. I have tarot now. I'm gonna pull. Okay, there's this one. Three of Wands. Okay, so I'm trying to see, but I think this might be like she has some sort of looks like a tripod or something, and then I don't know if it looks like a magnifying glass, but have you noticed that there's the glowing that's happening, from this area of her heart, the heart space, the heart chakra. She's really glowing, and she's magnifying, and that heart chakra is so open, and it's golden. And you know what, as far as golden goes, that song has been in my head, playing in the background for probably almost a week. I love that. I love that movie. Yeah, but the golden song that's so popular right now, yeah, I really resonate with a lot of the music in that. But yeah, this is what's happening. We're going up. We are allowing ourselves to be our true selves, and when we do that, we find the gold within us. It radiates out of us, it shines out of us, and we feel so good. And she has, the gold, yellow, and the orange. That's yellow is the solar plexus, and courage, and to be yourself, and to live, and to radiate from your heart, like to radiate love, unconditional love for yourself and for others. Radiate that and magnify it, like make it bigger, you know? And then the orange is like the sacral chakra. You know, you're like, you're safe to do that. Even if the walls seem like they're coming in on you, you're safe to do that. Okay. And yeah, okay. So I don't know all the tarot symbolism and all that. I haven't memorized it. I don't know it. And actually, I'm finding that I do really prefer to just read the cards the way it's coming to me. And if it's not like in the pattern of what the tarot usually says, that's completely fine with me, because I feel like the messages that come out, that come to my my understanding and my awareness are usually the ones that I need, and maybe some of you will need. Okay, 10 of Swords. This looks a little scary, huh? 10 swords, and there's like it's a merman, and the spirit of this merman, you can see here in the wind, and this spirit, you know, like there's blood, there's yeah, it's pretty intense, right? Pretty intense. And I don't know what happened here to this merman. Something big, something some sort of tragedy that happened to this merman. And I think it is a man, because the body is a little bit more masculine. Wow. That's so unfortunate that this happened. And I don't know what to say about this. There's a lot going on right now in the world that makes me think about this. But so what to do about this? You know, it's tragic. But what do we do? What are our options? What would you do from your heart if you saw something like this, which I think we have seen this recently? What do you want to do from your heart? In your heart, I mean, I don't know who this person, this merman is. I don't know who this is in this card. It could be represent anyone that you want it to represent. I would not wish this on anyone, okay? Clearly, a life has been taken, and whether or not we know the reasons behind that, it doesn't really matter. What matters when this kind of thing happens, what matters is how you respond, how you your reaction does matter. Like, are you coming into this with a full heart, full of love and compassion? Do we need to know the backstory? Do we need to know whether this person, this merman, do we need to know whether that merman was what we would judge, which we shouldn't judge, but do we need to know why this happened? And do we need to know whether or not this person deserved it? Because nobody does. Nobody. We all come to this earth with the same value. We love these little babies that come to the earth. We love them. And at some point, maybe there's trauma that's experienced, probably by all of us, and we also have programming, which can be traumatic, and it can shift and alter the way that we show up in the world and the way that we we can get very misaligned and forget how to communicate with our higher self, and that can result in a lot of a lot of really difficult things, a lot of hurt, a lot of things that we eventually need to heal. And sometimes we don't address what needs to be healed, and we don't see the truth of who we actually are, and we don't allow ourselves to align with that truth, and when we do that, it could possibly become tragedy for us, when we continue patterns that are unhealthy, and when we're operating not from here, not from truth, not from our higher self, and not, but we're operating from an unhealed inner child that's wounded. There's a lot more tragedy that can come of it, because we aren't allowing ourselves to be truly who we are on that soul level, which is love and light. We're all love and light on that soul level, and that's why we need to go inward and we need to dig in the closet, dig in the shadows, and find those unhealed parts of ourselves and bring them to the surface so they can be transmuted, and so that we can become our true selves and operate out of our heart space, and everything we do out of our heart space for ourselves and for others has the potential to make this world a heaven on earth. It really does. Okay, I think I didn't know that card was going to come up. Obviously, I didn't know it was going to come up. I didn't really want to talk about any of that, but if that's what I meant to talk about today and open my mouth and my heart and my throat chakra, then I guess that's what I'm doing. Okay. And there's no excuse. I'm not like excusing myself or anyone else for behaviors and things that are that we do out of that place of being unhealed. I'm not excusing that, but I feel like we all need to learn how to heal ourselves so that we can operate out of the heart space and love ourselves and love others. Ace of Cups. This chalice is so full, so abundant, so full of, I don't know what's in it. I can't really tell what it is, but like this whole card screams abundance, right? Like it's just, it's beautiful, it's balanced, it's like I was just saying, this is the reward you get to experience on an energetic level, and even on a physical level, because whatever you do on the inside reflects on the outside. And so this is what you get to experience, what we get to experience when we learn how to love as our true higher selves, our souls, not these personas that we put on, not these fake people that we've been conditioned to be. But when we become our truest self, where we are completely aligned with God, with Source, with the universe, where we all are one, and we recognize who we really are, and we especially align with our soul and our divine and unique expression of our soul. When we do that, the magic happens, and because we're operating from that place, we are able to create the love, the abundance, and the everything that we want, and we're able to experience heaven on this earth in this physical form, as well as the internal heaven that we learn to create from the inside first, because then that will be reflected on the outside. So that is what I'm getting, and that's where I'm going to leave this. So so pay attention to your internal gauges and go within yourself when you need to. Pay attention to that, so that you can recenter and rebalance and remember who you are and how to operate out of this space and not so much this space. And like return to your source, like the source of all. Return to that, and return to who you really are on a divine soul level. I hope this helps. I hope it was reflective in some way that could help you. Yeah, and again, like I said, this is not an excuse to ignore things. That's not what I'm advocating. I'm advocating that we return to love. We return to who we really are, each of us, who we really are. Return to that, and don't let the cloudy, turbulent external world tell you who you are, or tell you who other people are. Learn to see with your non-physical eyes. Learn to see the truth. And when you see the truth, it's a whole lot easier to feel the inherent natural love and light that we all come from. And that's who we are. Okay, I hope you have a great day. Bye.